sports leader, ESPN Radio Winchester.
Real talk, local pride, sports that matter here at home. This is the Afternoon Handoff with Johnny Hand, the voice of Franklin County. On ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
And welcome back. It is the Afternoon Handoff, ESPN Radio 1340 106.9 WCDT Winchester. Check us out. We are live streaming. I'm glad I remembered that. I got to make sure that you can see his good-looking mug. My friend Avery Kelleher has joined me in studio. Check us out. Listen to us on the WCDT app. You can listen to us anywhere or anytime. Avery.
Yes, sir.
Are you there?
I'm here.
Say something.
Hello there.
Say something.
Hello.
I guess that works. I know this has been fun. This is my first week, my fourth day, and so I don't think. I'll try it again.
Hello.
Say.
Hello. Hello.
Keep talking.
Welcome. Johnny Hand's the man.
I didn't even pay him to say that. I got it. I got him backwards. So I'm trying to figure out there's three microphones. They didn't tell me there'd be this many microphones.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But my good friend Avery Kelleher has joined me. Thank you. He's a dear friend of mine. We're both Delaware natives. I was explaining to Chewy a couple of weeks ago about the Fighting Blue Hens. I know you're not surprised that he had never heard of them.
Not at all. Delaware?
Delaware, that's right. So, and then I was so sad, my nephew is punting for LSU now, and Delaware just joined Conference USA, and so they played MTSU last week for the first time ever. So he missed it. He's gone to some small school somewhere in Baton Rouge.
Oh, something small.
That we're not talking about. But blessed to call you friend. You and I have been friends for a couple of years now. Thank you for coming by. I know looking forward to talking to you. We've got something very, very important that's coming up. The nonprofit is We Live for Riv.
Correct.
We've got one of the things that you wanted to do with this nonprofit, and we've talked about this from day one, is spreading the word.
Exactly.
We want to get Riv's story out there. We want to make sure that we're reaching parents, reaching guardians, reaching kids, because this has been a big battle. So you come in today, November the 13th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Franklin County High School. And I love what you're doing with this. You know, I've talked about this off the air, but going forward on these Rally for Riv,
correct.
It's tied in with the We Live for Riv nonprofit organization. There's always going to be two rallies by
correct.
Design.
Yes.
So on the Thursday night, the Rally for Riv, Thursday night rallies are going to be for parents. And with that, there will be a professional panel of folks that are familiar with this situation and these circumstances. And then on the Saturday night, it'll be the rally for the students, and that one's going to be fun. That one it's going to have some gospel, some Christian rap.
Yes.
But it's not just about the concert. There'll be a lot of information shared there, an opportunity to talk with kids. We'll have speakers and some other things. So here I am trying to explain how this works. Tell us a little bit about this rally and what we're hoping to accomplish.
Well, do we want to start where it started from?
Absolutely, please.
Okay. I had a rose at 5 a.m. on September 12th to head to dialysis and found my daughter in her room who had committed suicide. Totally unbeknownst, absolutely no indications. The Thursday before was just any other day, smiling, having fun, hanging out, and to much fear, horror, surprise, seeing my daughter that morning was life-changing, to say the least. In the midst of this and trying to evaluate how life could even begin at that point, the Lord spoke and he said, we're going to create We Live for Riv, and we're going to reach 1 million souls and snatch them out of Satan's hands and give them the hope that is in Jesus, but we can't make that cliche. You know, we're in the Bible Belt. We all go to church. We all do this. But how many of us truly have a life-changing experience with the gospel? And that's what we're looking to do. We want people to get out of identity crisis and understand who they are, how God sees them, and move forward and head-on challenge mental health, suicide, bullying, and just be that voice that is so needed in society right now.
And, you know, full disclosure, you and I are friends, blessed. You know, my family loves your family.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, I think vice versa.
Yes.
My girls probably more so than me. I get that. That happens a lot. But, you know, you called me that morning.
Yes.
And, you know.
You were there the
I was
entire
there.
time.
I was there. But almost immediately, you know, you told me something that stuck with me. You said the devil's not going to win.
Yes.
And I think, you know, this rally is amazing. I'm excited to be even a small part of it. I'm going to be there for the Thursday evening. Can't be there for the Saturday, unfortunately, but I will be there for the Thursday. But one of the things that really sticks out to me is how quickly this has come together.
God has just been flooring me left and right. The phone calls we get with support, the open doors that he's bringing is just unbelievable.
And, you know, and this is going to be at Franklin County High School, so it's on the bypass. The school system, you know, I was there, you know, that morning and the days after. You know, we say a lot of negative stuff. You know, it's easy to talk about the school is this and the school is that. But, I mean, in all fairness, and they were really tremendous.
The entire community was absolutely amazing.
I mean, you know, the Jeannie Miller in the high school made the high school available to you and the family after the service. We had a little party there.
Yes.
After the service that day. They've stepped up here. I know when we reached out to them from the We Live for Riv, you know, they made anything available
Correct.
that you needed. So like I said, it's easy. We hear a lot of negatives, and it's easy to jump on that bandwagon. But I do want to make sure that we say thank you, because
yes, thank you to all.
September the 12th, that's the day, you know, we're not ever going to forget. It's etched in my heart as well, to November the 15th. That's barely 2 months.
Yes.
How did you manage to get this up and running that quick?
It was all God. I mean,
Yeah.
I really can't take any credit for it. He gave the vision, I spoke it, and he began to water it and grow it.
Right.
And like I said, the community support, we're going to start, and this is kind of a preemptive, but November 22nd, we're going to be at Mass Appeal doing bi-weekly events for youth where we'll discuss, work on identity, and give avenues for resources for these children as well. It's not just for children. It is for anybody that is struggling with depression and suicidal tendencies and, you know, just struggling, that needs help. We're going to be a support system that's going to be here.
And, you know, one of the things that you and I have learned that going through this is it's not uncommon.
No, not at all.
It's something that we don't really think about, but, you know, our kids, but, you know, adults as well, because we've unfortunately we've dealt with suicide in all age groups.
Yes.
and just in the last couple of months, actually, and the same week, the same weekend when Riv made this decision, there was another student in the Franklin County school system that, thank God it wasn't successful attempt, but there was an attempt made.
Yes.
And as we started talking to people and started putting this stuff together, you know, it's not as uncommon as we thought it was.
No, we've tracked 4 actual attempts that were successful. One, an 11-year-old girl out of Nashville that was bullied.
And when you say this is just in the last couple of months.
Oh, yes. She happened, I think, 2 days after Rivers.
Right.
There was a 21-ish-year-old girl in Tullahoma that took her life. And there was a 51-year-old man that took his life recently right here in Winchester. And that if we know that there's an epidemic, but we're not bringing the solution, shame on us.
Right.
And to be honest, there's some people out there that say, Jesus isn't all the way solution. I don't believe. Well, I've attempted to try to bring this message without bringing Jesus, and there is no way. The only thing that got us through that was the love of Jesus and the love that people have for Jesus that showed to us.
And this is a tough situation. I remember when you called me that morning, and I got there as quick as I could, just absolutely devastated. And I told you that morning, I said, I'm your friend that talks the most, but there's absolutely nothing I could say.
Exactly.
But I think I mentioned it to you then. I always go to the Thessalonians, where it tells us that we do not mourn as those that have no hope.
Yes.
And I couldn't imagine going through something like this without some faith of some kind.
Well, to be honest, and because we've spoken off air, that for the last 2 years having to deal with kidney failure again, I kind of got a little begrudged with God. Knew he was always the answer, but didn't want to hear it.
Right.
Just because, he could heal me with a word. He could heal me with a prayer. And he's not healing me yet.
Right.
But he will in his time, and I trust that. So from the moment of seeing Rivers, the spark of what has been in me from childhood ignited, and it is an inferno.
Right. And that shows. Like I said, September 12th, and now we're looking at November 15th. I mean, that's barely 2 months.
Yes.
And you've put together something. Tell me a little bit about, we talked about, and we'll talk about the adult rally on this side of the break, but there will be an adult rally at Franklin County High School on November 13th. That's a Thursday from 6 to 8. And just tell us a little bit about that one. Is for the parents. Tell us what to expect on that one for the adults.
We're going to open up with a slideshow of Rivers, and then I'll get up and speak regarding what we do know that she went through and things that we've heard rumors of. And then we're going to go into a panel, and each one of those panelists will be able to answer. They'll present their topic, then they will go ahead and open up for question and answers across the whole board.
And where are you getting these panelists from?
We have them from, good question, multiple groups. Some I cannot mention the names just because of legalities, but they will be there. And they're all specialists in their fields.
Right.
So above and beyond doing this, we're also going to be advertising when we'll have training events.
Nice.
So one of the events that will be coming up is a QRP, I believe is the acronym for suicide prevention and after the fact. There's another one called HOPE that we will be, and all of these events are absolutely free. You come out and we'll supply everything. This is because the epidemic is so bad, and yes, I'm calling it an epidemic, that we need to do something.
Well, one is too many.
Yeah, absolutely. And
And you've talked just about the ones that were successful in this short amount of time, and that I believe there was a 53-year-old woman found in Manchester just a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
That they're saying initially for now that she took her life as well, and so and those examples that you gave were just in the last couple of months. We're like 5, 6 in our area. I mean, these aren't you could get on the internet and find these startling statistics, and they are startling when you really dive in. But we don't think about it very much, and until it happens to us.
Well, I had shared a post on We Live for Riv, and it basically said life is busy,
right?
But we need to be intentional,
right?
And that's pivotal in this. I've had people come and say, "Well, what if Riv was bullied?" Well, it's not an anger towards the bullyee if there was. It's they don't know their identity.
Right.
So we need to educate them on their identity.
And and I respect you a great deal for that. I know there's a lot of anger.
Yes, absolutely.
When something like that happens, and anger from the family side. But I know as your friend, a lot of anger from our side, because people are so quick to jump in and say, well, they should have seen the signs. And,
exactly.
And they were doing, this was so obvious.
Well, I'll give my shoes any day to somebody who wants to feel it, but I hope they don't experience it.
But, and that was probably the toughest part among a lot. I mean, this we're still processing, and I know you are, and so that's why I'm really grateful for you stopping by, because this is important.
Yes.
And it means a lot. So I was excited when you were willing to come on today. But it's so easy to sit there and say, well, how could you not know? And the truth is we know. We knew Rivers, and my girls adore her. I mean, that was the little sister.
Yeah.
She got tagged along. She was funny because she wasn't very extroverted, which most of those Kelleher kids, all of them but Luke.
Right.
Luke's the crazy one. It's like he got all the extrovertedness, and the others are very enjoyable. But I've told you before, and it's true. One of my favorite things with the relationship that my daughters have with your kids is that my daughters refuse to allow them to be introverted.
Exactly.
And so they make them interact whether they want to or not. But that was one of the things when this happened is they want to say that every kid that's introverted is a danger, and that's not accurate. There's so much inaccurate information out there. So I want to ask you, because I know this has been something that you've been just dialed in on, and it's been your existence since September the 12th. What is one of the biggest misconceptions out there that people say that you've come to discover just isn't true?
There's several little small nuances, but kids use these apps these days, and we do parent checks here and there, and we'll check them. Never found anything whatsoever. Right. And, a lot of parents would be similar to us in the sense that, I trust my kids, they're not going to do anything and all this. But you have no idea the darkness that's working on the other side.
Right.
And the only thing that the police found on Rivers was a TikTok page that was nothing but depressional and suicidal thoughts.
Right.
And had I known, because my wife and I have no idea about TikTok, and let me plug that as well. One of the specialists that will be there will be teaching on apps kids use, ways to see them, ways to monitor without being totally intrusive. But just the outward appearance is not what people are. Right. We're all dealing with something, and that's probably the biggest misconception that I've seen.
Well, one of the things I guess that made me the angriest, because you brought up the TikTok page, and there was some stuff on there, but the people that were saying stupid stuff didn't understand obviously how TikTok worked either, because and this is tough and forgive me, but to me I think this is important to say. A lot of that stuff was reposted.
Yes.
These weren't, so they show up different in the feed. They don't show up necessarily on your page. But in looking back at some of the stuff, I had somebody reach out to me and say, well, this was posted in June. Well, the original post was. Right. But the repost was literally that evening. Yeah. And so that was just one, and it infuriated me because, people can be so insensitive. But, we live in a society that wants to, somebody's got to be blamed. Point the fingers. It's got to be somebody's fault, and how could this happen? And we can do that because we think it can never happen to us. Right. So let me, you're not. Let me take back your Dad of the Year mug. You're not me. I would have never happened. And in doing research and really looking into this is, because I'm proud to be a part of the We Live for Riv. We're putting this together. You're doing all the work. I'm taking some of the credit.
Yeah, you take it.
but in doing and looking into this and doing this research, we're finding out that it's so much more prevalent. And what happens, and it's tough from a privacy standpoint, because what happens is the school system, and not blaming the school system, because it's hard with HIPAA and it's hard with you're dealing with children, and so like I said, the very same weekend, the next day after Rivs made that decision, there was another kid in our school system, and a lot of people don't even know that.
Right, exactly.
And
we push it under the road.
Well, and it's tough because what is the answer to that? Because you need to scream it from the rooftop so that the the awareness is out there, and so people that know, but then you want the other side says you have to respect the privacy, and you do, but you have to. It's hard to make it known as much as you want to, because you have to make sure that you protect that kid and protect that family. And
Right.
so
At this point, we're not naming yet, but we do have several politicians that have come on board.
Nice.
And they'll be supporting this and helping us spread the word. And I do want to say that We Live for Riv was designed specifically as a we.
Right.
It takes all of us to make a change. And it's not just We Live for Riv. It was founded as We Live for Riv. However, it's We Live for
right.
who have you lost? Who is struggling?
Right.
You know. We live for that person as well. And it's to show them that there is light, there is hope,
Right.
there is a rally support system.
And one of the toughest things about this, and this is from my side, obviously no one can imagine from your family side, but from my side, it was the first time that a lot of our students and our kids dealt with something like that.
Yes.
And even it's very unusual to lose a child to death, no matter how. And there's no, we've had some precious kids. Thank you to Doug Garrett, does some amazing work for childhood cancer and keeps a spotlight on some of those kids that we've lost. But my girls, they didn't know anyone that had passed in several years, and then you add that extra layer, and there's just so much that's misunderstood about it. It's scary.
Yes.
It's hard to imagine how anyone could get that sad, but we know that they do.
Well, grief will have its way.
Grief will have its way. We're going to take a real quick break. We'll be right back with my special guest, Avery Kelleher. We're going to be talking some more about the We Live for Riv, and in particular, after the break, everyone to break down what's going to happen on Saturday, November the 15th, at the youth rally at the high school. So don't go anywhere with us. Stick around. You are listening to the Afternoon Handoff on ESPN Radio 1340, 106.9 WCDT, Winchester.
Car at an affordable price? Stop by Money Down Motors here in Decker. We specialize in quality pre-owned vehicles with low down payments and flexible financing options. No matter your credit history, drive away today with a car you'll love and a payment plan that works for you. Visit us at 1945 Deckard Boulevard or call 931-962-3404 for more info. At Money Down Motors, LLC, your ride is waiting.
After a cloudy and rainy afternoon, tonight's going to be partly cloudy with a low of 36 degrees and some west winds coming in, otherwise being a calm evening with some slight wind gusts at 15 miles per hour. Get out and enjoy some of this cool weather while you stay tuned to ESPN Radio Winchester 1340 1069.
The Afternoon Handoff with Johnny Hand, the voice of Franklin County.
My intent, my hope is to put the spotlight on our local sports, our local events. And, in our society, for some reason, this has become a big issue, but it is okay to disagree. Sometimes it's even helpful. My commitment, I'm open to discussion. I've been married 27 years, so I've been wrong before.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on ESPN Radio Winchester.
This is ESPN Radio 1340 1069, Southern Middle Tennessee sports leader, your sports destination for Tennessee Titans football.
Real talk, local pride, sports that matter here at home. This is the Afternoon Handoff with Johnny Hand, the voice of Franklin County. On ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Welcome back to the Afternoon Handoff. I am your host, Johnny Hand, here on ESPN Radio 1340, 106.9 WCDT Winchester. Thank you for following along with us on the Facebook live feed at ESPN Winchester, and, of course, listening in on the WCDT app downloaded. Back here with my good friend Avery Kelleher, and I've been doing a good job of not taking credit. You've been impressed with the intros and all the other stuff, and so I want to go on record to make sure that I told you that everybody knows that. Thank you, Joe. Joe put those together, makes it sound like I know what I'm doing, and I'm just here. I'm the lucky one that gets to sit here and pretend to be a DJ for a couple hours a day,
You're doing well.
Monday through Friday. But you stopped in. Like I said, you and I have been friends for a few years now, and said my family loves you. My family's heart. We've been hurting with you.
Yes.
We came over and ate good with you, man. The churches in this area stepped up and stepped out.
We didn't have to have food for a month and a half.
No, it was really good, and and that was the thing. I had to make myself. I got caught up in some of the stupid text messages and some of the other stuff that I was getting, and I realized that was part of letting the devil win. And you told me that wasn't going to happen, and I promised you that it wasn't going to happen on my watch either. And so you have to let that stuff go and focus on the mission. Now, it was interesting that we were talking during the break, and some of the panel that's going to be there, we can't mention them because this came together so fast.
Correct.
That we don't have time to get the sign-offs on the legalities and those kind of things. And so I thought that was interesting, but it also speaks to how important
Yes.
and how necessary this is. So we talked about on that Thursday, November the 13th. It's at the Franklin County High School. It's going to be from 6 to 8. That rally for Riv is going to be for the parents.
Correct.
For adults. Now, it's when you see the flyers, and you're going to see a lot of these in the next couple of days, in the next 2 weeks as we prepare for this rally. It says the Rally for Riv parent. That's open to any adult. Any adult, because you might not be a parent, but you're an uncle, you're a neighbor, you're a coach,
You're a friend.
you're a friend, you're involved, and you see these things, so you play a very necessary role. And we want as many people aware and eyes open and on this cause, because like I said, you and I sat here and we just mentioned 5 incidents in our area
Yes.
in 2 months, and so
It's heartbreaking.
it is absolutely devastating. So we want to make sure that that when you see that Rally for Riv parents, that you don't have to be a parent to come. Just please come, because this is important. But then, and I've said this already, and I've told you this off the air, I love the idea of the Rally for Riv for the parents, for the grown-ups. And we're gonna dive into this information, and we're gonna do that for the youth too. But the Rally for the Youth on that Saturday, November the 15th, from 6 to 8:30. Again, thank you, Franklin County High School. To be at the Franklin County High School on the bypass will be the Rally for Riv Youth. What's the big difference between the two?
This is more geared towards children. I will spend the first session discussing all of those topics with the kids, letting them know they're not alone, letting them know there's resources out there, letting them know about the meeting at Mass Appeal and weekly event or biweekly events. So we're going to go on an emotional roller coaster. I mean, we're going to discuss Riv. We're going to, just as the Celebration of Life was, we're going to go into the morning of, into the praise of the one who holds rivers now. And then we will transition into a concert. I've spoken with these 2 gentlemen from Nashville. One is DJ Rome, a phenomenal Christian DJ that will be coming out. And then Christian rap artist Quan Cole really felt compelled due to the fact of having daughters and could not imagine having something like this happen and doesn't want to see it happen again. So therefore he's on board. And we're going to run for probably an hour and a half with this concert. Just unwind, relax, and love on you.
And this is your background. You love Christian rap.
Well, I've spent years organizing large-scale events.
And you've brought stuff to the school system in the past. That some of you out there listening, your kids or yourself, you attended some of these in the past. So this is something that's not new. I love that what you've done is you've taken something that and then you use that to be able to spread the message for something that now means so much to you. Now, what I do like, and I know this is hard, and so I want to make sure that I mention this, and the kids that are listening, and the parents, if you're listening, share this message with your kids, because this is important. It's okay to talk about Rivers.
It is, absolutely.
And-
Absolutely. She had a side that the school didn't see. You know, you walk in school and you're surrounded by your peers, you're surrounded by the environment, and you kind of close up more so as an introvert. But, you know, it's funny to me that if Rivers would have been our first of 5, she would have been our last. She was that rambunctious, wild, and fun.
Right.
Her and her sister also have like a nursing home that I'm already scheduled to go to. I don't know if that's still in effect, but she was.
I'm sure Ellie says it is.
Probably so. Rivers was just a ball of life, and my family is devastated, as you can imagine. And those stages of grief, you know, one day it's one, another day it's another, 1 minute it's one,
Right.
and then it's another. And getting that support, counseling, and avenues to get you out of that mindset
Right.
is all we're going to do.
And I think that's just something that I wanted to make sure that people know, because even, you know, my daughters, we knew Rivers personally, love her,
Yes.
always will. But, you know, that was one of the things, that was one of the first questions is, you know, can we say, we allowed to ask about her, we allowed to talk about her?
Yes.
And I think we want that.
Well, we are honored as parents, as a family, that Jada has taken this mantle and put it on for her pageantry.
Right.
It's, like I said, God is just opening up so many things that we're in awe of.
You know, that's my dramatic twin. She's we're not allowed to call them beauty pageants. They are
Okay.
scholarship
I'm sorry.
pageants.
I'm sorry.
But one of the things with scholarship pageants are they do have a platform. And so she was very excited. She got to do her first pageant of the season last month. And We Live for Riv is her platform. She's proud to share that. And it's personal to her. Because, like I said, you guys mean a lot to us, and so
And you to us.
and you did y'all. I was. I'm not, and this sounds really weird. I'm probably not supposed to say this out loud, but I'm not supposed to be offended that you asked them to sing and not me.
Well, you were in quiet prayer.
but no, I'm proud of them, and that was tough. But you know, they love you and your family enough, and they were honored, and they wanted to do that.
It was beautiful.
And it's something that they'll always remember, and they were glad that they were able to be there. They hated it because they had to run off to work a wedding. Right. So I think they sang, and it went right. I was laughing because they asked you and Lisa to come up if you want to say something. And they were like, "Oh no, wedding starts in an hour. Everyone's gonna talk forever."
Yeah.
But it was you guys did so well by Riv, and it's funny because she didn't like attention.
No, not at all.
So, and that was one of the things that struck, you know, Christy and I when we came to the high school after I was able to get away from the wedding myself. We were struck by that, but it was absolutely perfect.
It was.
You know, it was a good time of folks that love all of you and absolutely love her. But I wanted to make that clear, because that's probably the toughest thing, and that's one of the questions that I get asked a lot is it okay to talk about Rivs?
It is. It is. One of the most recent emotional roller coasters we went on was when the high school had their conferences.
Right.
And although Eli still attends the school, we went for his conference. But even walking in the door, knowing,
Right. It's all right. It's all right.
that we wouldn't see Riv
Right.
walk out those doors again or graduate,
Right.
it was crushing.
And like I said, that's why I love you so much for
I
coming.
love you too.
And I love what you and your family are doing, because I can't even begin to imagine, you know, and for you, but you're not letting that be the end of the story.
It will not be.
You
Until
know-
the day I die, we're going to reach this million.
The Rivers Kelleher story is different than what we prayed and hoped and imagined that it might be, but it's not over.
No.
And so I love the fact that you're working that in, and I think as hard as that will be, and I'm sure that's probably going to be the hardest part of these rallies, these that are coming up, and these are just the first.
Yeah, it's going to be nationwide, globally as well.
We're not, we're blessed to get this off so quickly and be able to do this locally. You're going to be, if our listeners out there, those that are watching on the live feed, we're going to be just blitzing you with information on these rallies. Invite somebody to come, but do come yourself. But the story isn't over.
No.
There's an opportunity there to really continue to spread that message. And I noticed that we're going to be talking about mental health and suicide and bullying. I mean, bullying's that's tough. We didn't have to deal with that when we were kids. And
even when kids leave the school, it's still on the internet. It's right there following them. They cannot get away from it.
And that's tough because I'm a parent, and there's so much good from social media, but man, there's so much is evil, and it's you have to be really careful with what's out there. And I tell my girls all the time, whatever you put on the internet,
it's there forever.
There forever.
Yes.
And so I'm glad that this is something that you guys are willing to stand up to, and bullying is an epidemic across Franklin County, across Tennessee, across our country. And as we're coming to find out the suicide, we think it's rare because and fortunately it's not a common event, but Joe chimed in on the Facebook Live. One life is too many, and that's the case. But then what's really sad is when you dive into the attempts. Yeah. And those are tough because when you start doing a little research on this stuff, a lot of the attempts are just cause for attention. They're not necessarily wanting to succeed.
But even still, it opens up a nightmare of preventative. How do you then deal with that child that made the attempt, that felt that way? As a parent, you don't want to have your child labeled and always critiqued, but you want to provide help, and it's a dark path.
And it is tough because we live in a society that is very judgmental. The old Pastor Jason was teaching week 4 last, the old plank in your eye, pointing out the splinter in somebody else's eye, and it is tough because we don't know. And I've got people I've tried to figure out all this stuff. Doug Garrett's weighing in. We love Doug. Don't know this family, but if there was pain, prayers for his mental health going forward.
Thank you.
You've got a lot. Doug and Amy, his wife, are the driving force behind the childhood cancer awareness. Okay. They lost a daughter quite a few years ago, Bethany, and
thank you, Doug.
I learned a few years ago in talking with Doug, the same conversation I had with you. She had a name.
Yes.
She exists, and so I always try to make sure every year I get to help him with this car show and some of those things. And I'm going to put you two together because y'all would be a force to be reckoned with together. Mm-hmm. And great guy, great Christian man, and as you are, and looking forward to that. And I love how what you're doing with this, with the We Live for Riv, is you're keeping faith prominent.
Yes.
And noted, right there. It's not hidden in the background. And kudos to again, Franklin County High School, because they're not shy about, they're not telling you can't come up here. We're going to have 2 Christian rappers in Franklin County in a high school.
Yeah. Franklin
County High School.
Yes.
It's free.
Yes, it is.
So there's no excuse.
No.
There's no pretending that we're not what we are.
Yes.
And then we're going to be talking about the stuff that not a lot of people want to talk about. It's easy to ignore, but what I really love is that you are bringing in experts. When they come, and when those parents come and those adults come for that rally on Thursday night, the 15th, 13th is the Thursday night, Saturday night's the 15th. But if they come to that parent rally, they're not talking to the guy that works at Food City about mental health. And no knock on food. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying.
Right.
But the We Live for Riv is bringing in
Heavy
professionals.
hitters, yes.
And so I encourage people to come out because, situations like this, they're hard. I mean, I can't relate. Man, I love you guys and I hurt with you. But, I'm not even at the tip of that iceberg. But then it gets uncomfortable because I don't know what to do. Don't know what to say. Don't know what to ask.
Well, couple things. We Live for Riv is found on Facebook. Please sign up, share your stories, share positive encouragement. That we have several people that'll post that they're going through things, and it would be great to have that rally of support, pushing back and praying with them online and offering their love. In addition, like I said, every event we do is free. Doesn't mean the money just appears.
Right.
We're looking for businesses to partner. We've got 4-level sponsorships that we're going to be putting out. We were blessed with a mailer that's going to hit every mailbox in Franklin County as of tomorrow. It'll start. They went out today. We have a billboard going up, and I don't even know where the billboard is. So when you see it, share it on We Live for Riv so I can go take a picture. It's the we. And the tagline that we've ended up coming up with just it feels natural is together we can turn pain into purpose.
Wow. Together we can turn pain into purpose. I'm writing that down. Who came up with that?
I can't even put my finger on it. There's been so many people putting flyers together, putting designs, putting websites, putting the nonprofit.
Right.
It's so many hands have come on board. That saying,
Right.
many hands make light work.
Right.
Really, I've just had to share the vision, and it has come to fruition.
Well, and it's, we came, I was there that morning when you called, and, I spent a lot of time with you that next couple of weeks for sure. And most every time that I pulled in, I had to pick up a package of food.
Flowers.
Food and flowers. Chimes. Oh, man, how many chimes did you wind up with?
I believe 6.
Right.
And they just melodically
Right.
beautiful.
Oh, yeah. But it was, just the community really showed up and showed out. I know your church family
Yes.
was a big, big help. That was a very
And
special service that you had.
So many people from Delaware rallied too.
Right.
People I hadn't been in contact with
Right.
for 30 years in ministry have shown up.
Right. Well, and that's one of the things that a lot of people aren't aware of because, your background, you were a minister. I was
Yes.
going to say you were, but the truth is there's no such thing as past tense. If you
Correct.
if you are a minister, you are a minister.
Yes. I've been quiet, which I repented for.
Right. Well, and I think that we're finding out that that's getting the rafters are getting shaken on that.
Absolutely.
But you've been through a lot, and so but even before this, and so it's been as your friend, it's been helpful to know that there's that solid foundation there. We
Yes.
love you, so we worry about you because we love you and your family, but we know that there's where your source of strength comes from, and so
I couldn't imagine somebody going through this without God.
So we are going to take a quick break as we head into the final half hour. Will you stick around with me for a little bit longer?
Sure.
Awesome. So we are going to take a break. You are listening to the Afternoon Handoff. Special guest, my man Avery Kelleher, in with me. ESPN Radio, 1340, 106.9, WCDT, Winchester.
It's time for a local news break from the 931 Go News Center.
Winchester Utilities has raised water and sewer rates for the first time since 2018 to help offset rising operating costs. At the October 14th City Council meeting, Jim Marshall, principal with the consulting firm Jackson Thornton, reported that Winchester's water system has been operating at a $518,000 shortfall on a $5.4 million budget, while the sewer system was short by $634,000 on a $3.9 million requirement. Marshall recommended a 75-cent increase per 1,000 gallons gallons for both systems this year, with additional increases next year to address the gap. George Powell, Winchester Utilities General Manager, said the average household uses about 4,000 gallons of water per month. Based on that usage, the total monthly bill rose from $76.17 to $83.65, an increase of $7.48, or roughly 9.8%. Powell emphasized that the first 1,000 gallons remains free, noting that some customers consume no more than that. He said that the rate hike was necessary to cover higher costs for electricity, operations, and infrastructure. Meanwhile, in Deckard, following a string of controversial employee posts, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen has updated the city's social media policy. The new resolution defines clear boundaries for employee conduct online, emphasizing that while the First Amendment protects free speech, it does not protect against consequences for speech that harms public trust or disrupts city operations. Violations can lead to disciplinary action, including termination under the city's personnel policy. Any matter which brings discredit to individuals, officers, or departments reduces public confidence and trust in our city, the policy says. This loss of trust impedes our ability to work with and serve the community. Professional behavior builds trust and confidence with the public. For more details on these stories and more, visit 931go.com. Stay informed and stay connected to ESPN Radio Winchester.
This is Joe Abraham inviting you to wrap up the week with us on the starting lineup. It's What the Florida Friday, when Chewy and I are joined every week by Sam Davidson from the Franklin County Sheriff's Department. We dive into the wildest, craziest headlines straight out of Florida, and trust me, the laughs never stop. Start your Friday with sports, stories, and plenty of fun. It's What the Florida Friday, only on the starting lineup on ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
You're home for the big dog. Weekdays from noon to 2, The Tom Abraham Show on Southern Middle Tennessee's sports leader, ESPN Radio Winchester.
Real talk, local pride. Sports that matter here at home. This is the Afternoon Handoff with Johnny Hand, the voice of Franklin County, on ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester. Now back to Johnny.
And welcome back. The Afternoon Handoff here on ESPN Radio 1340 106.9 WCDT Winchester. Check us out on the live stream on our Facebook page. Download that WCDT app. Avery was just telling me you got some family in Delaware listening in. The app's amazing. So that's what I listen to in the morning while I'm getting ready, in case Joe wants to test me when I get here. They start at 7. I usually get here about 8, so I want to make sure if there's a trivia question or something I'm supposed to know that, that we have that. But my good friend Avery Kelleher sitting in here with me. Been talking about the We Live for Riv nonprofit foundation, the Rally for Riv. That's going to be Thursday night, November the 13th. Did that right?
Correct. At
the Franklin County High School on the bypass from 6 to 8. And then the youth rally is going to be that Saturday night, November the 15th. It's 6 to 8:30.
Correct.
And that's going to be for any student. Is there a particular age group that you've got in mind for that?
We've heard children as low as 8 years old have been contemplating
and they're welcome?
or doing it. So I don't.
What is your target? What's your target?
Target would be upper middle school to high school.
Got you. Good deal. And I asked this because that's important, because we want to make sure that we're making the most impact, and it's going to be loud. I mean, you know, just because it's Christian rap, they don't rap gently.
Well, I told the DJ if the building's not shaking, I don't want him.
Hey, and the DJ in me can appreciate that. Now we've been talking. You know, Riv made that decision on September 12th. Barely 2 months later, we're going to be on November 13th. The parent rally is going to be happening. That's just the first. So now you sent me a little text message. It looks like you're going to be in Chattanooga at the Erlanger Health Science Center on February the 7th for a Girls Leadership Summit.
Correct.
Speak boldly, shine brightly. I love that. Is just out of curiosity, is suicide particularly more prevalent in young girls than it is young boys, or?
That, honestly, I cannot answer yet. As we educate ourselves, we'll learn more. This summit reached out to us via the Facebook page and stated that their main topic this year, being the keynote as we are, is going to be suicide awareness.
Right.
So it's got to be something prevalent, especially with girls,
right.
but I assume with boys as well.
Right. I was just curious. But but that's awesome. And one of the things I see on the flyer that you sent me, and I'll share that as well going forward, is free.
Yes.
You know, this is something that's very serious. It's something that happens a lot more than we like to talk about. And I think a lot of it is, and we've touched on that a lot this afternoon, is it's hard to talk about.
It is very hard.
It's a tough conversation from our side. I mean, we love you, so it's hard to, you don't know what to say.
Well, even as a parent, I would much rather say my daughter passed.
Right.
But that's not the element that made her pass.
Right.
It was the darkness of the suicidal thoughts.
And to me, I guess that's what I admire the most. I don't know what the right word is, but we have a lot of love and respect for you and your family.
You as well.
And I know that you're still going through that. I
Yes.
mean, this hasn't been that long ago.
No.
And so this is something that still, I know you guys have some counseling and some things that are coming up. And so that's something that I mentioned only because I think it's important that you're not, and I love how you answered my question about the girls thing. You're not presenting yourself as an expert.
No, not at all.
Just because something terrible happened to you doesn't mean you know everything about it.
I'm an expert in the pain that we're experiencing that I wouldn't wish on the worst person on the planet.
And and we pray for you every day.
Yes,
because
please.
we know this is still a process. I mean, you and your family are doing some amazing things. Again, I don't know. I'm involved in a lot of things in this area and a lot of things event wise and DJ wise and announcer wise, and you get to do those things. I don't know of anything that of this size and of this importance that could come together that fast.
Like I said, it's his hands only. I mean, if he speaks it, he'll make a way.
And and a big thank you to those folks out there that are stepping up. A lot of them behind the scenes, a lot of them quietly, but we thank the Davis family over there at Mass Appeal.
Yes.
Good folks. Some of my favorite people. We like Ashley more than we like Matt. I'm just kidding, Matt. But they really good folks, and so a big thank you to them in particular with what they're doing to help. You've got some other folks. I don't get into the name mentioning things because I'm old and I always forget somebody and then you offend somebody.
Right.
But there's a lot of folks that are just jumping in and have
Absolutely.
from the start.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that we met a couple weeks ago. You've put together the mission statement, and there's a lot more information to come. And so we know this is the first rally here in Franklin County. Do you know when the next rally is going to be yet?
My line is open to contact. I will go anywhere at any time to do this. We just obviously need the planning, and don't want to always put God on the pressure of make it happen in a week. But if we can start getting things set up, and Tullahoma is dealing with stuff, Manchester's dealing with stuff. Right. Let's get out here and change this world for God's glory.
And you hit the nail on the head, because one of my favorite sayings is, God didn't intend for us to lean on the shovel and pray for a hole.
Right.
You've got to put forth the effort, and I'm hoping, and as we get a little bit closer, and this is coming up, this is gonna be here before you know it. You better stay on it.
Oh yeah.
Better get you some rest, but you are obviously as it's coming together. But as it gets closer, we want to make sure that we reach out to the folks in Coffee County and in Moore County and Grundy County and those counties around us. It's funny because we're a sports station, so we're supposed to not be allowed to like some of these people. I was laughing. I was talking to Joe yesterday because Christy's cousin Richie Chadwick is the soccer coach at Tullahoma. Graduated from Franklin County, so he loves Franklin County, but he's been the soccer coach at Tullahoma over 20 years, probably closing in on almost 30 years.
Well,
He does boys. Well, I know, but tomorrow they're playing. The girls are playing in the state championship game
Right.
tomorrow morning.
We need people that we have to beat.
Well, I know, but I don't. But I hesitate to say congratulations and he's my family member.
Right.
We love you. So, Coach Ritchie, I kind of in a roundabout way said good luck to Tullahoma girls tomorrow as they play for his first state championship. So. But I say that to say because we when we think about surrounding counties, a lot of times we like to separate ourselves and they're different than us. But when it comes to something like this means everything.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is bigger than Wildcats and Red Raiders and Rebels and Yellow Jackets. I mean, this is important. One life is too many, and sadly, we've already passed that total.
Yes.
And we continue to look for ways to spread that message. And so, as we prepare for this rally for Riv, the parent rally again is going to be Thursday, November 13th, 6 to 8, Franklin County High School on the bypass. The youth rally is going to be Saturday the 15th from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Franklin County High School there on the bypass. What are some things that you want some folks to know and to be thinking about as they prepare to come to these rallies?
Just open your heart. It's hard to remember when we were kids and what we had to deal with,
Right.
and it's a million times harder now for these children. And as busy as we are as parents with the economy and things like that, and not going political, our minds are in a lot of different directions, but we've got to be intentional to what matters, and that's family first. Well, God first, family second, and then everything else third. Just having an open heart, being willing to listen, even if you think your child is that ace student that never has an issue
Right.
whatsoever. We have no idea what's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
And like I said, there was no indication with Riv.
Right.
It was absolutely out of the blue.
Right.
And
And-
I don't want another person to have to deal with this from any side.
And I guess from a parent standpoint, can we give ourselves permission to not be perfect?
Absolutely. We have to, because we're not.
Right.
There was only one perfect person.
And I guess that's where I'm going with that. It's tough because fatherhood is probably the toughest job I'll ever love.
Exactly.
But man, I fail at times, and it scares me because of what the consequences can be. But I'm excited to see this because you're not playing around.
No, not at all.
This is not. We're going to have a rally and we'll figure it out as we go. You've got real speakers lined up, experts. People that can answer those tough questions. And so, and what I like is it's not enough to have somebody that knows the answer, but you're giving parents their own evening. There's no kids. You're giving parents and all adults, uncles, aunts, grandma, grandpa, next door neighbor. You're giving every adult the opportunity to come and ask that hard question.
Yes.
And you're giving them an environment because it's hard to work up the courage to ask those questions. But then you want to make sure that when you're asking them that you're talking to somebody that can give you an answer.
Yes.
And so I'm very excited about that. And then I'm excited for the kids because, you're providing an environment. Again, I love that you're opening up the rally. Every rally, we're going to tell Riv's story.
Yes.
Because it deserves to be told. And it's not done.
Not at all.
That's the most important thing.
Our story just started.
But we're going to tell Riv's story, but we're going to have some fun too.
Yes.
We're going to do some I know church clap, but there's going to be some. I can't do it.
You're right.
but I know it. But so
No
what?
Forrest Frank this time.
No for. Right. So it's that one got me too. But you're providing an environment, and then it's important enough. And kudos, like I said, we said a special thank you to the Davis family. But there's so many people behind the scenes that have opened up their hearts and their wallets.
Yes.
Because the most important thing about this message is it doesn't matter if you have experts. It doesn't matter if you have artists that are coming and willing to share their talent.
Right.
If you can't afford to go.
Right.
And so the fact that everything that the We Live for Riv is involved with is going to be free, and that's not just now. That is
forever.
That is the intention. Everything that we do is going to be affordable. So, we live in a society now where a lot of things that we want to get involved with aren't attainable because we just can't afford to do it.
Right.
And so the fact that everything that you're doing with this, you and your family and the We Live for Riv is going to be free. What I love about that as a sports announcer and as a dad is it takes away all the excuses.
Right.
So there's absolutely no reason. And again, we've said it, but kudos to Franklin County High School. We're not going to be at the old high school,
Nope.
at the annex. We're at the big, beautiful high school. We're going to have plenty of room. The phone rings, but I don't know how to answer it. So, but it's from California, so we're not going to talk to them. If they're not from Delaware, we're not answering the call here on this special Fighting Blue Hen edition.
One other surprise that we're going to let out on the 13th and the 15th is on the 16th. We will be opening up at a to-be-announced location, a
That's
baptism.
a Sunday.
It is. It'll be 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So go do your church, attend,
Right.
do your hanging out and lunch. But we will be attending and opening baptisms, water baptisms, because to know who you are and then to die to Christ, die to self and rise to Christ in that symbolic fashion, I believe is absolutely key to your walk.
And when you and I talked about you coming on, one of the things we wanted to make clear was, we're going to talk about faith, and we're going to, because that's part of We Live for Riv. That's part of us.
Yes.
I mean, that's who we are.
It's my DNA.
But what I want to point out, and I think it's very important, and we're in the Bible Belt, and blessed to be here. We live in one of the absolute most special places in America.
Yes.
You and I are from Delaware. We chose to be here.
I'm not going back.
Absolutely. If my mother-in-law's listening, that was her biggest fear. I was going to knock her hillbilly daughter over the head and drag her back to Delaware. We are here. But what I wanted to point out, and as we talk about that, is it's not about faith. It's not about denomination.
No,
It's
not
about
at all.
faith. It's not about denomination. It's not. We're not a bunch of Baptists that are, because I teased you when the people were bringing the food. I said, "Oh man, it's the Baptists, and we're gonna eat like," and and it was funny, but it's true. Baptists, we eat good. There was no banana pudding, so I knew it wasn't truly Baptist.
Well, Johnny entered my house with like 3 armfuls of KFC.
Hey, we gotta
and
bring
he
chicken.
said, I'm Southern Baptist and our love language is chicken. So we ate well that night.
Apologies to the Reverend L.Z. Johnson in Callan, the only Baptist reverend that I know that doesn't like chicken. I thought that would get you disqualified at the Southern Baptist Association, but no, that was. But it's just important because you're talking about and that's exciting. That next day on the 16th, that Sunday, there'll be a baptism service. It's not about Methodist. It's not about Baptist. It's not about Episcopal. It's not about any of those things. It's about God's people.
It's about putting down what separates us and joining with what connects us, and that is
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Absolutely. So that I just want to be clear on that. So when you're out there, you're going to be seeing a lot of this blitz in the couple of weeks that are to come. It doesn't matter. We don't care. We hope you're sitting in a pew somewhere on Sundays, but we don't care where you're sitting. We want you to come out. We want you to ask the tough questions. But it's not even about asking the tough questions, because we know what the questions are. It's about hearing the answers.
Yes.
And hearing the resources. There is so much of this that's happening out there that we're just not aware of. Right. And the truth is some of it can be avoided. Yes. The hard truth is some of it can't be. Yes. I mean, there's not 100% foolproof plan, and that's not what We Live for Riv is trying to provide. No. What We Live for Riv is all about is, one, remembering that beautiful girl.
Yes.
And two, being aware, just knowing that it can happen,
and having resources,
and knowing where to turn, because that's the other thing is as a parent, you can be aware of this issue and this problem, but then where do I turn?
Right.
And how do I get help? And then you touched on it earlier. It's hard because when you talk about something like this, there's a stigma attached, and I don't understand that. But it's not, suicide is the ultimate decision to make. It is, it's final.
It sounds harsh, but I'm going to say it. Suicide is the most selfish act that one can do. You're taking what God gave you and ending it.
And it's tough, and that comes back to a big, because you start broadening out. Suicide is an act, but the symptoms are, the mental health and the other things that people don't like to talk about. It's for some reason, and you can't help it. It's mental health issues exist, but we've got it in our mind that somehow that makes you weak or that makes you less than. And so when I agreed to be a part of this with you, that's the part that I took on, because I saw it with my mother. And mental health is it's painful to see, and it tends to lead to not just this particular decision. It can ruin lives, and it impacts the people that love us and the people that we love. And so I'm really excited about the opportunity to be a part of this from the start. From the very beginning. I hate how it came to be. I'll forever hate how it came to be. I'll forever love the girl that this sprang forth from. But just thank you so much to you and your family, because you've been through the unimaginable, but you've taken that unimaginable, and we're turning it into good.
Absolutely.
The devil, you told me that morning the devil was not going to win.
The devil picked the wrong family in this
The devil
occasion.
picked the wrong family. The devil picked the wrong community. And so one more time, the We Live for Riv. I got a pastor calling me now. He probably knows I don't know how to answer the phone. Michael Clark, I'll call you right back. I love Michael Clark. I got to tell my story on him because we talked about the nomination. And I think I've told you this before, but I was DJing a wedding, and he was the officiant, and the lady said, "Do you guys know each other?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I love Dr. Clark." And so I asked him, I said, "Well, what am I supposed to call you? Because you're not a Baptist, so you're not cool enough to be Brother Clark." And so he is the Reverend Dr. Clark, and he's one of my favorite people. Love Dr. Clark and his family and how they serve our community and the things they do. So, is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap it up?
I thank you for this opportunity. I thank you for this community, and I thank you for your prayers.
Continue to do that. We love you very much. Can't imagine what you're going through, but I'll tell you this: you're not going through it by yourself.
Amen.
And it's just a blessing to see how our county, our people have rallied around you, and that's going to continue. So the Rally for Riv, the parent rally, is going to be Thursday, November 13th, Franklin County High School on the bypass from 6 to 8. That's going to be open to all adults, parents or not, all adults. And then the youth rally going to be fun Saturday the 15th, November 15th, back at the Franklin County High School. We're going to tell Riv's story. We're going to say her name. We're going to have some experts there to talk to our youth. We'd like to be that. It's not going to say specifically, but middle school on up.
Yes.
We'll have a Christian DJ and a Christian rapper. So come out, and we're going to ask some tough questions. We're going to share some hard information, and then we're going to have a good time.
Yes.
And so free.
Did you say free?
I said free.
Hey.
My favorite four-letter word is free. And then that Sunday, the 16th at 2 p.m., man, we're gonna baptize some folks, and so it's gonna be a blessing to be a part of that. Looking forward to seeing good come from this unimaginable Avery Kelleher family. We love you. Thank you for being brave enough, for loving us enough to come out here and talk about Riv and to share your story. And We Live for Riv has its Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
If you have not done so, please sign up there and join. Again, we want to make sure everything always is free. Stick around because we are just getting started.
Amen.
We Live for Riv, Parent Rally, Thursday, November 13th, Youth Rally, Saturday the 15th. Come on out. Ask those tough questions. Let's celebrate Riv together. Let's love one another. Let's learn something. Take care of yourselves out there. I'll be back with you tomorrow on the afternoon handoff here on ESPN Radio, 1340, 106.9, WCDT, Winchester.
It's time for your obituaries on ESPN.